Hello everyone, this is Michael Wolfe for WatchReport.com, and today I would like to take just a few brief moments to discuss a rather obscure watch brand, actually a pretty cool watch. This is the UHURU Impi. It is produced by UHURU out of South Africa. The model got its launch on Kickstarter and was fully funded, which they produced the ivory model that you see and a black dial model. The ivory model is the only one that is still available. I'm not sure why. I think the ivory dial is much more appealing, but that's neither here nor there. Folks' preferences and so forth. So the Impi retails for $349 USD. And I think based on what you're going to see in the video and the specifications that I mentioned and so forth, it's very in line with other watches in that price category. Some information about the branding, the model name Impi. They are Zulu warriors in Africa, and they are armed with cowhide shields and spears, which you'll see some of that aesthetic detail in the components of the watch. So again, start off on a 7 3/4 inch wrist. A lot of wrist presence. We've got a case that weighs 128 grams. Obviously, the leather strap isn't going to add any significant weight. So with a watch head of 128 grams, you're going to feel that you're wearing it. Now, probably the only thing that I take exception to, at least that I've seen on the watch at this price point, is it's got the small wrist strap. Not very much room for expansion. Someone with an 8-inch or above on the wrist size is probably not going to be happy with the strap. I can tell you that the floating keeper during the day will work its way off and be up here dangling around and so forth. And with thin keepers such as this, not a big fan of the tail of the strap going through just one of these. So you might want to consider, the strap's nice, but you might want to consider an alternative. So let's take a look at some of the watch details and a little bit more closely. We have a 3/16L stainless steel case, and it does have a nice bead blasted finish to it. It's not as refined and as even in certain areas. I'm pretty sure it's not going to show up in the video, but all in all, it's very nicely done. The case is 44 millimeters with the crown. It's 51 millimeters. We got 52 millimeters lug tip to lug tip. So all around, pretty equally sized. The crown at the 3 o'clock is a screw down crown, and it handles the complications, the timing, and the date complications. The crown at the 9 o'clock rotates an internal bezel. As you can see, it moves quite easily, and it is bi-directional. The watch is 200 meters water resistant, but due to this being rather easy to move and knock out of place, probably not suitable for timing dives. Would be just more suitable with the right strap for snorkeling, other water activities, and so forth. So real nice domed. Here's a good look at the doming. 37 millimeter sapphire crystal. It does have an anti-reflective coating, so it does hold down glare unless you're like right in the light. Very clean, legible dial. Date window between the 4 and the 5, which is also legible. There's some loom on the dial on the hands and so forth. It's not great, but again, this isn't a dive watch, and as many of you may know, I feel that loom is a gimmick anyway. If you're going to do any diving, you're going to have a dive light and so forth. So you can see the way the case is constructed. It's kind of a retro-ish type vintage case, but when you go back to what I mentioned earlier about the Zulu warriors carrying a shield, it is kind of shield shaped, and then when you look at the hands are spear shaped. So kind of neat that they incorporated those aesthetics to the model name. So anyhow, as you can see, the second hand sweeps around the dial, so it is an automatic movement. They chose, with their first watch, they chose the tried and true Miyota 8215. Now, why a display case back, I'm not sure. The 8215 isn't really something marvelous to behold, but they did etch the company logo on the rotor, so that's kind of neat. But I think what would have been better suited for this particular watch is solid case back with maybe some kind of heavily engraved UHURU logo on the case back. Now, the 8215, for those that may not know why a lot of people they're not huge fans of that movement any longer. With the Miyota 9015 now being out, as well as some other ones, is it lacks hacking features, whereas like when the crown is fully extended into the time setting position, the second hand just keeps on rolling. So you can't get as an exact timing precision on as far as setting your time as you can with the hacking feature. And I will say that the 8215 tends to not be quite as accurate as the newer 9015 or ETA, some of the ETA movements and Salida movements and so forth. So backing up though real quick to the screw down crown, I do want to mention that this crown is very nice, very smooth, very buttery, which sometimes on a new watch brand can be kind of hit and miss. So nice construction with the crown. The you can see how it looks like the entire case was kind of like machined out of a block of steel and so forth. So pretty cool looking case, nice screw down case back. The leather strap is about 3 millimeters in thickness. It's not a bad strap. It's very soft. It's almost suede feeling and texture. It's comfortable on the wrist, just a tad short, as I had mentioned, and just a standard buckle, no branding and so forth. So that finishes off the watch. So there you have it. This is a quick look at the UHURU Impi, South African-based watch company. And this model again, sapphire crystal, Miyota 8215, screw down crown, dual crown system, internal rotating bezel. Really heavy case, in my opinion, all for a retail of right around at $349 USD. So I would like to thank UHURU for providing this model for review. I would like to thank each one of you for watching. Definitely go on over to watchreport.com and check out the full written review with additional thoughts, comments, photos, etc. I'll have a Loom shot over there. Well, let me see if I can get a Loom shot in here real quick before we there you go. I mean, the Loom's not spectacular, but I'll have another Loom shot in the full written review. So definitely go on over, check that out, and stay tuned for my next video here on watchreport.com.